MTD Network have popped in to see our friend Mick Finney from Tefloturn. Great to see you, Mick. Question though. Last time we saw you were in a small barn, Sandringham estate, and you were thinking about retiring. What's happened?
Well, I've got younger as time's gone on. This was a really good opportunity to get a much bigger unit, 3 times the size, and it's enabled us to take on another man. So we're doing our bit for the country.
Absolutely, because last time it was just you, Jack and Bell. Now you've got 2 other guys as well. Brilliant.
Yes, yeah. And Jamie's been with us since he left school. He's finished tech, skilled man. He's learned a hell of a lot here, though, as well.
Never in doubt, Mick. But when you say learn a hell of a lot, if we think Tefloturn, I'm thinking plastics.
Yes, that's right. Plastics is an art form all of its own, and it's a different world. Metals, great. Plastics, great, but not the two together. You get cross-contamination.
Now, you say plastics, I'm going to put you to the test. Name 5.
Oh, polypropylene, PEEK, Delrin, acetyl, which is virtually the same thing. Have I done nylon, PTFE?
Showing off now, you're on 6 already. What's the most, or the trickiest plastic?
The hardest one that I have come across is probably nylon, because it does tend, the swarf will wrap around the part and melt. Instead of a component, you end up with a big melted blob.
But not a problem to you guys. Now, what I want to do is move on and showcase some of your parts. So we've got the fixed head lathe in the background, and I understand you've been making this on it. So talk me through it.
This component has repeated 4, possibly 5 times while we've had the client. As you can see from this, it's a very peculiar shape. It's done on a fixed head lathe, so it'll spring roughly a 0.5 wall thickness all the way down it. It gets exciting. It is not the fastest part we ever make.
So Mick, yeah, great example of what you do, because I'm thinking if you did that in metal, it's going to be difficult, but in plastics, even more complicated.
Oh, you can have moments with it. We've got a huge great pile of swarf outside, just waiting for our dearly beloved council to shift.
Well, we better crack on then and get the cars out of the way. Now, fixed head lathe, but you've got, next one, sliding head lathe, full star 20mm with a 3-metre bar feed?
Yes, that's right. Yes, we're very, I suppose lucky would be the wrong word, but we have a 20mm slider which we bought brand new a couple of years ago. This is a perfect example of work that we can do on it.
Now, looking at it initially, doesn't look too complicated, you know, external threading and cutting a couple of grooves, but it's not quite that. We need to have a closer look, don't we?
Well, yes. And you have to remember, this is in plastic, it's PEEK actually. Now if you try to do this all in one pass, this thread, it'll just push away from the tool. Here on the small end you have a right hand thread, all this big barrel is a left hand thread, which we do in 6 sections. And marry all 6 in perfectly to the thread gauges.
Make it sound relatively simple. And bore all through the middle, I understand.
Yes, it's roughly 1.2mm from memory, right through the middle.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, that's your sliding head work. Now, not just lathes though, is it? You've got a bit of milling going on as well. So I understand this is an example of what you do?
Yes, this is just one of the myriad parts we make on the mill. Done in 2 operations on the mill. Easy peasy. Simple part for a change.
Well, relatively simple part, but thin walls, and you've got individual engraving there as well.
Oh yeah, the walls are thin, and you can probably see movement there when I do that. But we hold it, and the engraving down the middle. I don't know if you can quite catch that.
No pressure on the cameraman.
No pressure at all.
Okay. Now, great examples of what you do, milling, turning, but onshoring. So these parts here, what's happened here?
Well, these are components. There are two bags. This one, the main component, this one, the cap that goes on the small end here. They were previously made abroad. The client has brought them back in this country, aiming for quality. We told him that we couldn't compete with the foreigners on price by the time you put in the carriage and so on. We got the order. They're going to come 5,000 of each part every 2 to 3 months, ever ongoing.
So that is a great example of onshoring, isn't it, where quality overcomes the price, as long as it's decent pricing, of course.
Our prices are always decent.
Mick, great to see you again and just find out a bit more about what you do. We know that already, but a master of plastic, that's all I can say.
Well, that's right, yes. I can't think of anything nice that rhymes with plastic. Otherwise, I would.
Mick, great to see you. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to see you, Colin, and you know you're always welcome here. And if I can persuade Arthur to do it, the kettle will always go on for you.